have to tell you. Barnes in the state of Alabama does not have to give me a reason why they terminated me. Thus for means they can not tell me anything but put whatever they want on a DAC report, on an employee internal report, on whatever they want, and I have no way to know what's there. Because technically, if they put on an employee verification form that I was terminated for safety, I have no way of knowing because that's an internal form. I can't get a copy of it legally because it's internal, it's company. They put this on my DAC supposedly is what my understanding is and what I'm being told. I'm upset, I'm aggravated. I think Billy Barnes, in my opinion, is a company that claims to be family oriented, but really they're just all about money and they're all about, you know, whatever you want to call it. I don't even know what the purpose for all this is. Other than it's revenge because, in my opinion, revenge because I question the legality of them saying, hey, you have to reimburse us if you want a copy of your medical form. And I wasn't even asking for the original. I was asking for a photocopy because that's all I needed. And they wouldn't even give me that. And the doctor's office wouldn't give it to me either because the doctor's office kept giving me the spiel that, well, the company paid for it, so it's their form. And I don't even know if that's legal or not. But this sounds like a bunch of whining. So now y'all kind of know what's all been going on. And it's really been quite stressful because, in my opinion, it's BS. I've been told now that by the recruiter that called me after I got done talking with the safety person at this, hopefully what will be my new employer, that they do feel like they're in agreement with me that it is Barnes trying to blackball me. But I still won't have an answer till tomorrow on what they want to do. Because I'm going to tell you, and I will tell everybody this right now, everybody that is listening, look into my eyes. If I had had those kind of safety complaints, if I had had excessive safety complaints from anybody that was a safety related issue, and I knew that was on my DAC report, I would be so ashamed and I would hang my head in shame and I wouldn't even be trying to apply for trucking jobs because I knew I would not be able to get them. In my mind, there is no reason that there should be anything safety related on my DAC report because I've had clean inspections. I hadn't even been pulled over for an inspection in over a year, and that last inspection was clean. So if I was a safety issue and I knew I was a safety issue and I knew I had been terminated for being a safety issue, I wouldn't show my face in the trucking industry. Mark my words on that. And I'm sorry if that come off as me being ill toward the camera or angry toward the camera, but that's just how I feel right now. I feel aggravated. I feel upset. I feel frustrated because this is what companies do to people who stand up for themselves. Been unemployed for almost a month. Tomorrow will make a month. I have been unemployed. I'm so stressed tonight over all this that I don't know. I just don't know beyond this point. I'm hoping I will be in orientation next week. I'm hoping I will be at a new job next week. I pray to God I will be at a new job next week. So, that's my vent, that's my rant, that's my thoughts and opinions. That's what happened with Barnes Enterprise. That's what happened with Billy Barnes Enterprises out of Monroeville, Alabama. if you come across this video and you're thinking about working for them, do not work for them. Because if you do something that upsets them, they will terminate you. And in my opinion, they will put something on your record that will make it hard for you to find another trucking job if they terminate you. That is my opinion. I cannot prove it. It is not evidenced. It is just my opinion. Thank y'all for listening. Like, dislike, tell me I'm wrong, tell me I'm an asshole. Whatever you want to do, you're welcome to comment whatever you want to in the bottom. But, you know, this is what's been going on with my life. This is what's been going on with me. This is me being stressed. This is me trying to find something, trying to find a way to vent. I wish these wasn't the kind of videos I made. I wish I made stuff that people legitimately wanted to watch. But with that being said, good night, take it easy, and God bless. So, I'm going to talk about Billy Barnes Enterprises in Monroeville, Alabama. My most recent employer and the employer who terminated me on December the 13th of 2022, roughly about 1 week before my anniversary, and subsequently about a week before I would have got my end of year / Christmas bonus that would have been worth up to $1,200. And just so I'm clear, for legal reasons, this video is opinion. This is my opinion, because until I get the evidence and the reports in my hand, I can only go off what someone has told me. Thus for its opinion until I have the documentation in my hand. Once I have documentation in my hand, we'll go from there. So moving forward. December of 2021, I think my hire date was the 23rd. Was my official hire date. I was hired by Billy Barnes Transportation. I went through their DOT physical process. At the time, I questioned it, let it go because I needed a job. But their quote-unquote policy, and it's not in their handbook, but their quote-unquote policy is that they pay for your physical, you use their doctor. But if you want a copy of your medical long form, which, give me a second and I'll be glad to show you what one looks like, because I have one. Which is this. This is your medical long form. This has anything and everything that the doctor may have did. It has blood pressure results, any medications I might be on. Now, for those truck drivers of you out there that watch this, yes, it is true that as of 3 years ago, you technically no longer have to have this in the truck with you. So let's shut that argument down right now. But for my safety purposes and my peace of mind, I've always kept a copy of my long form. Always. Because, no offense to law officers out there, I know a majority of y'all mean well. But there are some law officers out there that are like, I need to see your long form. Just for whatever reason. And if you can't provide it, they'll write you up or they'll shut you down. It doesn't matter if they're in the wrong. They might believe they're in the right. And then you have to fight it in court. That takes time, that takes money. So I've always kept a copy of that long form with me in my truck in a binder at all times. So when I got hired on with Barnes, they're like, you know, if you want a copy of your long form, you got to reimburse us for the physical for the doctor that we made you go see. So I think I paid for it the first year and got a copy. So my 1 year anniversary was coming up. My DOT physical was coming up because I can only get a 1 year card because of my high blood pressure. So I politely asked. I said, hey, do y'all mind? Can I please use my doctor? It's closer to me. That way I don't have to drive 2.5 hours to Monroeville to do a DOT physical, and it mess up my schedule, and it mess up my shift, and it messes up everything else pertaining to that week. They're like, no, you have to use our doctor. I'm like, okay. Are you gonna give me a copy of my DOT physical? And they're like, if you pay for it. I said, if I pay for it, why would I not use my doctor, which is $15 cheaper and an hour closer? Well, that's just the way we do things. So we had this argument. We had this conversation. I questioned the legality of it. I flat out questioned it. I said, I'm not 100% sure it's legal for you to tell a driver he has to use your doctor, but then you tell him that he has to reimburse you for it if he wants the long form. The reason I say all this is because a trucking company gets to write off its expenses. Expenses like physicals, if they pay for the driver's physical, they get to write all those off. Every year, every 2 years, however often that driver has to get that physical, that cost of physical gets to be written off. So at the end of the day, it comes down to, in my mind, you're going to do what you want us to do or what we want you to do or else. And maybe that's fine with some people. Maybe some people just rather bow down and do that. And at the end of the day, I guess that's what I was going to do. I was going to do the physical. I was going to pay them their little pain in the butt $80 damn physical reimbursement and get a copy of my long form. Because at this moment, we had only had a disagreement, and I had only questioned the legality of it. That's right, I questioned the legality of it. I'll say that again. I questioned the legality of whether or not they could legally keep my long form just because they paid for the physical. So if you have any real lawyers out there, by all means, let me know. So they scheduled my physical. I had to postpone it because I had a doctor's appointment with my cancer doctor. So they rescheduled it for the next day. Okay. I show up like I'm supposed to do my physical and drug test. They send me, the doctor's office sends me to the trucking company, and the trucking company, all they tell me is we're going to part ways. Okay. Didn't say, hey, we're letting you go for this reason or that reason. Just says we're parting ways. So here's where I run into the issue, and here's my opinion, once again, my opinion of why I think they are trying to blackball me. Because I've applied for different companies. I have a clean MVR with the exception of a accident where someone rear-ended me in my personal vehicle in December of 2020. That's all that's on my MVR. My DAC report up until 2 weeks ago was clean. Had nothing on my DAC report. I've got that copy in my email. I was told today by a company that I've been trying to get on with for about a week now that Barnes put on my DAC report excessive complaints, making it sound like I have had excessive safety complaints against me. Now, the only write-up I've ever received with Barnes, the only write-up I have ever received with Barnes, said that twice, was I was written up because a tarp bar on a power tarp got damaged. It got damaged because they was built up on the ground underneath the bins. So when I rolled up, that buildup caused the back of the trailer or front of the trailer, back of the truck where its drives are to bump up, and the top of that trailer bumped that bin and it bent that bar. Well, they wrote me up for it. Wasn't my fault exactly, but they wrote me up for it. I still don't think it was my fault, but they wrote me up for it. Now, did they do a signed write-up? No, I never signed a piece of paper at all. All they said was that they're going to take my safety bonus for 4 weeks. 4, or was it 6 weeks? Either way, they took my safety bonus for 4 to 6 weeks. And that's the only thing I ever got written up for safety-wise at Billy Barnes that I am aware of. They never called me on anything else at all. Never wrote me up on anything else at all. Not once, not ever. But suddenly, that's what's on my DAC report. And the company, the recruiter, I talked to him today. He said he would get me a copy of that. I also talked to their safety department because here I am literally stressed out, almost to tears, again, like the video y'all saw weeks ago where I'm so stressed. I called this new company. I'm not going to give this new company's name because I don't want to get them involved, other than the fact that I'm trying to get on with them right now. So I called their safety person and talked to their safety person for about 20 minutes. Explained to her what was going on, explained to her exactly what I just explained to y'all. And 15 minutes after I get off the phone with her, I get a call from the recruiter I've been talking with. And he told me that after he talked with the safety person, they are of the same mind that I am, that they believe that Barnes is trying to blackball me. That's the word they use, trying to blackball me. I use the word blacklist. In other words, they're trying to make it to where I can't drive because they're that aggravated with me, in my opinion, that I question the legality of what they were doing with the DOT physical long forms. Because legally, they're not even required to have long forms. Your long forms are now tied in with your CDLs. All that's tied in with your CDL. So yes, it is tied in. But I just believe in keeping that form just in case you have an officer to ask for it. So you have it so he doesn't give you a bunch of grief. It should pull up with your license, but they ask for them. They ask for your medical card still. I still get asked for my medical card. So what's going on, I don't fully know. I do know that I've been turned down by 4 employers for unknown and unspecified safety related reasons because in the state of Alabama, they don't